this paper published in Biological Conservation summarizes the work that Center for Wildlife Studies, particularly scientists including me, Dr. Sambakumar and Dr. K Karanth have done over the past 30 years at different periods. It's probably the first macro-ecological study of tigers, prey, leopards, because it's very long duration and also across a very large landscape of 20,000 plus square kilometers. And until this study was conducted and published through a series of papers, this is only an overview, there was very little information on many of the things we found out. So, this was really new in that sense, it is new science, and it is very rare to find studies done at this scale on these rare, endangered and elusive species. The study also developed new methods, completely new ways of doing things, either inventing them or adapting them to Indian conditions. For example, to capture tigers and leopards safely and tranquilize them in the wild. This was way before tourism oriented tigers were there to be darted at will. Also measuring, identifying tigers and leopards using camera trap photos, using sophisticated models to estimate their numbers very carefully. Walking trails which are called transects to rigorously estimate number of prey species. Surveying landscapes which are wide and large, just looking at signs to estimate distribution of animals. All this was new science. So, the most wonderful thing about this was that a large part of the data was collected by people who are keen naturalists, but who are not necessarily trained scientists. These are called citizen scientists. They came from all occupations across the country, more than 500 people over the number of years, and they collected excellent data under the guidance of scientists. And I believe the quality of the data, the scale of the data shows that if we can do this over a landscape that contains 15 to 20% of India's wild tigers, we can easily extend this model of public-private partnership to survey tigers and other wildlife across the country. It will be a much better way of doing animal wildlife surveys than using the bureaucratic apparatus and very top down, very little publications, very little transparency in the data. I think this breaks a new path for doing wildlife science, particularly population monitoring of large mammals. So, we are very proud to have published this overview, and I hope it enthuses the government to focus more on what they claim to be doing, which is minimum governance and maximum results. This is how it is done. It is not done by expanding the bureaucracy to do more and more things, and I think this paper is a milestone from that perspective.